In this video, we will be adding another building to the city and continuing with the MILS roads. We started working on this building a long time ago. It was actually first shown in our LEGO City update with the beach and dock, which we posted almost a year ago now. Like any build in the city, I started with the base that will allow for it to fit with the rest of the city. I have to admit, I did use an off-brand 32x32 plate here because LEGO's 16x16 plates are pretty expensive to use in large quantities, and this plate does not sacrifice from the stability or quality of the build. But don't worry, this is the only part in the model that's generic. After the first story was done, I created the framework for the second and third stories. However, we did not have all the glass and frame pieces we needed, and I later ordered some from Bricklink. Around 7 months later, I started working on the building again and made the roof and completed the framework for the third story. The windows on the first floor used some cool techniques because they were built sideways with a small indent in the wall. For most, I attached a jumper to a snot brick in the wall and built off of it. One of the important things to keep in mind when building like this is spacing. So just remember basic LEGO conversions, I guess. Like the height of 5 plates stacked on top of each other is equal to the length of 2 studs on a normal LEGO brick. With these windows here, I had to change the way I attached the glass since the spacing was too small for jumpers on the wall. So I reversed the order and put snot bricks on top of jumpers and attached the windows directly to the snot bricks. My favorite part of the first floor has to be the angled wall. To achieve it, I used a Pythagorean triple, in this case 5, 12, and 13, and it's important to note that when counting studs for the triangle, remember to count the studs directly inside the walls so that everything fits properly. After determining the size, I added a glass wall. Nothing too special about this except that the left edge needed to be built with round 1x1s so that it would fit smoothly. And to add more depth to this section, I made an angled awning with the brown wood supports, adding contrast to an otherwise colorless wall. I also added this stone section, and I think it helped give this entire building a bit more natural look. I decided to go with dark and light stone gray for the main color palette and added reddish brown with dark tan for highlights. Many custom LEGO stone walls use 1x1 round plates for further variation, but I found that to be a little bit too much for this build, and that's probably because the wall is not very large, so it already had enough variation throughout it at this scale. After that, I made a small roof for the angled wall section on the first floor. It actually fits pretty well. The only thing is, it only really works if the second floor is already there. Then the parts that I had bought a few days ago from Bricklink arrived. The order mainly contained tiles as well as the frames and windows for the second and third levels. So I quickly assembled 49 windows and frames to add to the building. Once I finished that, I had to go through the second and third levels replacing all the empty frames with glass, and I have to say this part was kind of annoying, just disassembling and reassembling what I had already done, but the difference created by finishing this was so much better than I thought it would be. With the main build mostly complete, I finished the rooftop deck that had been an eyesore the entire build. I added a modern floor pattern that I had previously modeled in Bricklink Studio. Besides that, the back wall is decorated with some plants, and the deck is filled with a couple of seats and a couch. All that was left to do was to add tiles to a few spots and the building was finally finished. I'm really happy with how the modern design turned out. Let us know in the comments what you think. While I had been finishing the new building, my brother was working on the MILS roads and boardwalk. For those of you who don't already know, MILS is an acronym for Modular Integrated Landscaping System. We used a standard design for the roads with the same parameters that the rest of the city already has. After building the straight road, we moved on to the intersection. Since we want a crosswalk at every intersection and base plate spacing was not in our favor, we needed to connect this module to a larger one that now spans the width of the table due to how we have lined up the crossroads. I know this limits the modular capacity of this area, but otherwise this would have to be made up of 4x4 and 2x2 tiles, which would contrast the pattern being used for everything else. With the intersection complete, I started working on the curved part of the road. After finishing adding place to the base structure of the boardwalk, we moved on to tiling the water. A common technique used in the LEGO community to create depth is adding black plates under translucent blue tiles. Now that the base structure was complete, my brother added tiles and began working on the layout for trees, benches, and a bus stop. With everything completed, we introduced our new LEGO Cities Innovation Hub into the middle of the city next to the plaza. In a future update, we will add an interior, so make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss it. My brother and I are really excited with how everything turned out, and there's another city update on the way. This is definitely our biggest LEGO City update yet, and we hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.